So one of the screens for the TPI, or one of the 16 screens that they have for the TPI screen, is the lower quarter test. So it's nice for you to be able to have 16 degrees of internal rotation on both sides of your hip, or left side and right side. So it's easier for you to get into your hip in the backswing, and it's easier for get into your target side hip on the downswing. So how you do it is you would kind of lay like a 6-iron. That should be like a lie angle 60 degrees. And then you place another club or alignment stick or something like that along the ground to make 60 degrees. So roughly 60 degrees on this side. So I step up and I just leg relatively straight. I'm on the toes on the opposite side, and my foot is just, back a couple inches from there. Now keeping the dowel on both sides of your hip. Don't have one side of the dowel come off your right hip, testing the left side. So I'm going to test this side. Now, on this side, I would say if I brought the club straight down from my hip, I would say that I roughly probably have, I don't know, maybe like 40-ish degrees on the left side. So definitely one of the leading contributors to back pain is not having enough hip internal rotation on your left side. So it's obviously very important for you to have that range of motion when creating a nice efficient golf swing. So in order for you to do that, I've seen plenty of stuff on how to gain range of motion, but I really like this one that makes it a little bit more specific to golf, and I think it's a pretty easy position for everybody to get into, because some of the exercises, positions to get into rotation, I feel like aren't the greatest for everybody. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna basically just take the test that we just did and add what's called like pails and rails in order to gain range of motion. So what I'm gonna do, kind of in the same position, and I'm just gonna go to that range of motion of what I have. So I have, so let's say that's 60. I have, maybe 40-ish. And my left side's better than my right side. But so after I get that range of motion, what I'm going to do is I am going to feel as if I'm trying to push out of that range of motion. So I'm taking my foot and I'm trying to turn it out, and I'm going to slowly go 25%. And I'm going to try to turn my feet out at 50% and 75%. And at 10 seconds, getting to 100%. I'm going to do that for another 10 seconds at 100. So I'm trying to push it out, but my hip's just not going anywhere. So I should feel like almost like the outside part of my hip working a little bit to push my hips to the right. Then after that 10 seconds, I'm going to do the opposite. So now I'm trying to pull in. So now I'm trying to push or turn my foot in. And that's working more the inner thigh, kind of TFL muscles, getting more internal rotation. And that's at 100%. And I'm going to try to do that for about 20 seconds. So let's just say, just for time's sake, let's say that's been 20 seconds. And after I do that 20 seconds, I'm going to take a breath in, breathe out. And just breathe in that position. Now what your hip's going to want to do, it's going to want to hike to get that internal rotation. So as much as you can, try to feel like you keep your hips level and not kind of like that. So say that's been 60 seconds. I'm being able to breathe in that more stretching state. And then I'm going to do the same thing one more time. So from here, and I just like to use a alignment stick. Probably a golf club's a little sturdier than this. And then from there in that stretch position, I do the same thing. So I try to turn my foot out slowly at like 25%. And then work up to 50%, 75%, 100% for 10 seconds. So for time's sake, I'm just going to do it for about 5. Then we're going to do the opposite, which means I'm going to try to turn my foot in. And I'm going to try to do that at 100%. Breathing, breathing, breathing. So I'm trying to get to the end range and create strength, going in both directions. Let's say that's 20 seconds, and then breathe. Now we'll try to keep that hip down and not hip hiked. another thing, I'm keeping my big toe down. So a lot of people, when they do this test, the toes come up in order to kind of fake getting that good internal rotation. So let's just say that's been 60 seconds, and then I back off, okay? Now, I'm gonna do a retest to make sure of whatever I did actually ended up working. So I'll come up, do the same test, little staggered stance there, go, and I have, 60 and then some. So I got a good amount of increase just from doing that. That would take maybe like four-ish minutes. So obviously you're gonna have to keep on doing it, do it frequently in order to make it stick. But the more consistent you are with that, the more your body's gonna be able to make that change, make it stick, and make it easier to be able to make changes in your golf swing.